Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Swati Mishra from International School of Business Management at Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur. And I welcome all of you to our fresh session of Indian business houses. As you all know that we have been discussing the success and failure stories of some big business houses. So today's session is dedicated to two such big business houses. The learning objectives of today's session are to introduce the learners to the success and failure stories of different business houses, to make the learners closely analyze the reasons behind success and failures of some big business houses, and to let them get an insight to various strategic moves of the famous Indian business houses that may lead to major successes and failures of these business groups. After this sessions, the learner will carry detailed information about two famous Indian business houses, Jet Airways and Micromax. The learners will be aware of the major strategic moves of these business houses that lead to their successes. Along with this, the learners will also carry an insight to went wrong, due to which these business houses had to see the face of the failure. So, without wasting any more time, I want to ask a question to you. It must be popping in your minds, I'm sure. That why are we discussing? Okay, it's fine to discuss failures, successes, but why are we discussing failures? In my previous session, also, when I had discussed the success and failure stories, I had told you that when it's a very common saying, actually, you all must be aware of it, that when Edison was trying to create bulbs and he failed around 100 times, he said that I have not failed. I have just found 100 ways in which you cannot make the bulb. So you should try 101th way. So, unless one has tasted failure, he would not know the value of success. And we shall always be looking forward to learning from our own failures also, and from the failures of others also. And these would actually give you some good lessons of what not to do when you are doing a business. It could be taken as the learning lesson. So let us move ahead for today's discussion. And the first business group in discussion for today is, yes, the Jet Airways. And today we are here to first discuss the story of Jet Airways. Jet Airways is an Indian international airline based company. It was incorporated in April 1992 as a limited liability company. This airline began operations as an air taxi operator in 1993. It began its full-fledged operations in 1995, with international flights added in 2004. The airline went public in 2005 and in 2007. In February 2016, it was one of the largest airlines in India, with around 21.2 passenger market share, and it operated over 300 flights daily to around 74 different destinations. So, this session is basically about the airlines of India, for the bridge connecting an air terminal to the jetliner, and further routes through the sky flown by jetliners. And we have to understand that how a big business conglomerate of airline industry could actually meet failures also. So this international airline based in Mumbai, it was, as I said, that one of the largest airlines in India. in 2016, and the main hub, excuse me, the main hub was at Chhatrapati Shivaji International Airport, and the secondary hubs at Chennai International Airport, Indira Gandhi International Airport, Kempegowda International Airport, and Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose International Airport in Kolkata. So I have given you some basic facts on the screen. You can see it, and this company had also acquired Air Sahara in 2007, and it was left with its competitors, mainly like SpiceJet and Indigo. Lowering ticket fares in the following years, it was forced to follow the suit, hurting overall performance, resulting in some steep financial losses. It dropped to the second place behind Indigo in October 2017 with a passenger market share of 17.8%. And the downward slide continued and resulted in bankruptcy in 2019. Before the founding of Vistara, it was the only other full-service airline of India apart from Air India, and it ceased its operations in April 2019, but is slated to restart operations somewhere recently in summers of 2021 when it found its new buyers. So let us go ahead and try to discuss in detail about this organization. Here are some quick facts which I just told you about, and one of the major ones is that it was founded on 1st April 1992 and commenced its operations on 5th May 1993, and it ceased its operations on 17th April 2019, which was resumed recently in 2021. And the hubs, as I told you, were Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport. Secondary hubs are also there, like Indira Gandhi, Kempegowda. The frequent flyers are the Indian flyers who keep flying in domestic flights. The fleet size is of around 12 and new aircrafts to be replaced by the old ones. So, and the founder was Naresh Goyal, who was also the former chairman of this company. So, let's go ahead and talk about the initial stage of this airline. This airline was granted a scheduled airline status on 14 January 1995. It entered into a marketing agreement with KLM the same year. In the financial year 1996 till 97, the airline carried a 2.4 million passengers and had a market share of 20%, which is second highest after the state-owned airlines. By this time, the airline had a fleet of, as I told you, 12 Boeing jets, 737 aircraft, operating 83 flights to 23 domestic destinations. In 1997, the Cabinet Committee on Foreign Investment (CCFI) of the Government of India announced that foreign airlines would no longer be permitted to take an equity stake in the joint ventures with Indian aviation companies. In October 1997, as per this directive, Naresh Goyal took back the control of TradeWinds from its foreign investors. In June 1999, Jet Airways announced an order worth approximately $550 million. By April 2001, the airline fleet had grown to 30 aircraft and was operating over 195 flights daily to 37 destinations within India. So these were the initial stages of Jet Airways. Later on, Jet Airways suffered some losses for the first time since its establishment in financial year 2001-2002 as the demand fell and costs increased. Jet Airways was announced as launch customer for the Embraer 175 at the Farnborough Air Show in 2002 with an order for 10 aircrafts and 10 options worth $520 million. But the deal was postponed due to the airline's financial difficulties and eventually fell through. In 2003, the Indian government decided to allow private carriers to operate international services to countries in South Asia like Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and this was the time when JET began its preparations to launch the international services. The airline launched its first international flight in March 2004 from Chennai to Colombo. Jet Airways was listed on the Bombay Stock Exchange and became the public company on December 28, 2004. The company's IPO in February 2005, which offered 20% of the airline stock, saw strong interest from investors, leading to oversubscription in retail, non-institutional, and institutional tranches, and raised rupees 18.9 billion instantly, making Naresh Goyal a paper billionaire. So now moving further, let's talk about the growth and expansion strategies of Jet Airways. In January 2006, Jet Airways announced its intention to acquire Air Sahara for US $500 million in an all-cash deal. However, the deal fell through in June 2006. On 12th April 2007, the deal was back on track with Jet Airways agreeing to pay 14.5 billion rupees, which is around 200 million US dollars. And on 2016 April 2007, on 16th April 2007, Air Sahara was renamed as Jetlight and was marketed between a low-cost carrier and a full-service airline. Jetlight became a wholly owned subsidiary of Jet Airways. In August 2008, Jet Airways announced its plans to integrate the Jetlight into Jet Airways. On 8th May 2009, Jet Airways launched another low-cost brand, Jet Connect with a K. It operated a fleet of Boeing 737 next generation and ATR 72 aircraft and operated on a profitable short-haul routes with higher passenger load factors. Jet Airways also saw some mergers, like in the third quarter of 2010. Jet Airways became the largest airline in India with a passenger market share of 22.6%. In July 2012, the airline officially sought government approval to join Star Alliance. Jet Airways is not a member of Star Alliance as of 2017. In June 2011, it became the first domestic airline in India to ban meat products and liquids in check-in baggages. Jet Airways merged the Jetlight brand into Jet Connect on 25th March 2012 and started offering business class seats after the demise of Kingfisher Airlines. On 24th April 2013, Jet announced that it was ready to sell a 24% stake in the airline to Etihad for 379 million US dollars. The deal, which was expected to be signed in January 2013, was postponed and was completed on 12 November 2013. Naresh Goyal had by then retained 51% ownership of the stock. In 2013, the airline lowered prices and entered into a fare war with the low-cost carriers like Indigo and SpiceJet. Due to the falling passenger demand, in February 2013, the airline's market value dropped by rupees 4.84 billion due to the falling share of prices. Jet Airways made profits in the third quarter of the financial year 2013-14 after posting losses over the previous year. Jet Airways announced on 11th August 2014 that it would phase out Jet Connect by the end of the year as a part of the plans to reposition itself as a uniform full-service operator. On 1st December 2014, Jet Connect was fully merged with Jet Airways, making it the third full-service airline in India besides Air India and Airways. In December 2015, Jet Airways announced the closure of its scissor hub at Brussels Airport by March 2016, and also the opening of a new hub at Amsterdam Schiphol Airport, effective by 27th March 2016. As of February 2016, it is the second largest airline in India after Indigo, with a 21.2 passenger market share. Now let us come to we've discussed how Jet Airways was actually, facing the or tasting the success day by day. But then what happened that led to the downfall of the spectacular airline services? So let us discuss Jet Airways' downfall now. By 2018, it became clear that Jet's growth was coming to a stop. With fierce competition coming from India's low-cost carriers, the airline lost much of its market share and also the revenues. So it was eventually forced to sell its wide-body fleet, including the 777s and 8330s, to reduce its mountain of debt. By 2019, it became clear that without a huge investment, the airline would collapse. However, no investment came as on April 17, 2019. Jet Airways suspended all its operations, shortly thereafter going into bankruptcy proceedings. So then came the bankruptcy and secessions. In November 2018, Jet Airways was reported to have a negative financial outlook due to the increasing losses, and in March 2019, it was reported that nearly a fourth of Jet Airways aircraft were grounded due to unpaid lease rates. On 25th March 2019, Mr. Naresh Goyal and his wife Anita Goyal stepped down from the board of directors of Jet Airways. On 5th April 2019, Indian Oil Corporation stopped supplying fuel to the airline, citing non-payment of dues as the emergency funds have still not been credited. On 17th April 2019, the airline suspended all flight operations. due to lenders rejecting their 4 billion rupees of emergency funding and its membership in International Air Transport Association, the IATA, that was also suspended. Later in June 2019, somewhere on 17 June 2019, after getting no acceptable offers from Etihad Airways, Hinduja Group lenders to Jet Airways decided to refer the company to National Company Law Tribunal (NCLT) for bankruptcy proceedings with debt of 1.2 US billion dollars. As the group faces insolvency proceedings in Netherlands after failing to pay two creditors, NCLAT, the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, has allowed cross-border insolvency proceedings, stating that the Dutch trustee administrator will work in cooperation with the Resolution Professional of India. In early 2020, Enso Group tried to rescue the airline with Russian Far East Development Fund and participated in talks for buying controlling stake in it from its Committee of Creditors (COCs). But the talks fell through. So to restart again, the airline now needed the approval from the NCLT, which adjudicates issues relating to the Indian companies. It also needs slots and traffic rights to be allotted by the Ministry of Civil Aviation. The airline has only 12 planes left by now. Let's talk about the reinstatement of Jet Airways now. India's Jet Airways could have resumed flights by the summer of 2021 after its creditors approved a bid from entrepreneur Murari Lal Jalan and asset management firm Carl, which is a part of the Fresh Group, an investment group founded by a serial real estate and tech entrepreneur Florian Frisch. The airline may start both domestic and international operations with all the slots that were available to Jet Airways before it stopped flying. Jet's new promoters, Murari Lal Jalan and Kalrock Capital, said the Jet 2.0 program is aimed at reviving the past glory of Jet Airways with a fresh set of processes and systems to ensure greater efficiency and productivity across all routes. It may be noted that the new promoters have also decided to stick with the Jet brand due to its value and existing flight slots at various airports. The statement by the new promoters said that Jet Airways will operate all of its historic domestic slots in India and restart international operations. So, with this, we have almost discussed the entire success as well as the failure story of Jet Airways. I really hope that this part of the session was pretty informative for all of you, and you must have got a great deal of insight with to the Jet Airways, how it succeeded, and what went wrong that it started meeting its failures. So let us now come to our next part of the presentation, which is the success and failures of the Indian business houses. Now, let's talk about the success and failure of Micromax Informatics. And the owner of Micromax Informatics is Rajesh Agrawal, the MD of Micromax, who earlier worked in the sales department with companies like Pertec Computers and Xerox before joining the Universal Computers as the sales head in 1990. His experience was good in the PC assembly and sales company until the Universal employees started facing salary and operational issues. It was then that he decided to start his own business. Rahul Sharma was the neighbor of Rajesh Agrawal for 35 years. With similar ideologies of starting their own venture, Sharma was not only on board with the business idea but also brought along his friends Sumit Arora and Vikas Jain, and with the investment of rupees 10 lakhs from each one of them, Micromax Informatics was established. So now let us move ahead towards the success and failure of Micromax Informatics. Micromax Informatics (MMX) is an Indian multinational electronics company that specializes in smartphones, laptops, consumer electronics, and home appliances, founded in March 2000. Its headquarters are in Gurugram, India. It was established as an IT software company operating in the embedded devices domain. It later on entered the mobile handsets business also. So earlier, before entering the handset mobile business, Micromax was, producing inverters, laptops, batteries, screens, television screens, laptop screens, etc. The success strategy of Micromax lied in its product strategy, its pricing, its promotion, and its distribution strategies. With the access to the Tier 3 and Tier 4 cities of India via their contacts of the distributors and the retailers from the previous years, 10,000 phones were sold in 10 days. The scale of their success can be gauged from the fact that at a point of time they were the second biggest company in the Indian mobile phone market after Samsung, an extraordinary feat for the Micromax brand. So at one point of time, a company which had reached to such heights that it was competing with Samsung, what just happened that it met the failures. So there are many reasons that made Micromax get flopped in the Indian market. But the root cause behind the fall of Micromax, when India launched the 4G and Reliance Jio brought a revolution in India. According to Vikas Jain, the co-founder of Micromax Informatics Limited, Micromax found itself with a huge stock of 3G smartphones across its supply chain, which it had to get rid of at a time when the market was focusing only on the 4G devices. Furthermore, there were many other reasons which led to its failure. For example, the quantity and the production, which was excessively high at that time, and since the 4G mobile phones had come up, they were facing a difficulty in selling those 3G mobile phones. The quality and specifications of their mobile phones was also not up to the mark as per the expectations of the customers. Their post sales services were also very underrated and, in fact, very substandard, which left the Indian customers very disappointed by the services of Micromax. And the timing of being e-commerce company, they were not as good. The price segments were also not as competitive, and they were already facing the competition from the entry of other brands like Oppo, Vivo, etc. This led to some major decline of their market shares. In 2013, the market share of Micromax had increased up to 22%, but later on, after 2020, the market share went down below 1%. There was a decline in the revenue of Micromax from that of 2016 to 17, which is depicted on your screen, which was around 1 million crores to 55,640 crores in 2017, and a meager amount of 430 crores in 2018. Later on, Micromax tried to make a comeback, and commenting on Micromax strategy, the research director Tarun Pathak had said that Micromax has returned to the Indian smartphone market with its IN Note 1 and IN 1B mobile models. Both models have received positive feedback from the consumers. In Q4 2020, Micromax reached its highest market share in the last 6 quarters. So, with this, we have almost discussed everything about Micromax. Micromax has, of course, been one, company which had started from being, uh, specialist in smartphones, laptops, and consumer electronics. And, you know, as I told you that in 2014, Micromax was the 10th largest smartphone vendor in the world. In the subsequent years, the company faced some stiff competition from the Chinese companies that began penetrating the Indian markets. The company also owns Vayu Televentures, which sells the products under the brand name of Vayu. So, a company which was manufacturing feature phones, smartphones, televisions, air conditioners, refrigerators, washing machines, and whatnot. And they were targeting the premium economy consumers. Then, what actually made this company face such big problems? There was a point of time when the brand endorsers of Micromax were big actors like Akshay Kumar and Twinkle Khanna, who were the first celebrities to endorse Micromax mobile phones. Hugh Jackman was the brand ambassador of Micromax and appeared in a commercial in 2013 for its first flagship smartphone, the Canvas Turbo 8 2050, sorry, 250, and for the Canvas 4, Canvas Silver 5 thereafter. In July 2013, actress Chitrangda Singh posed for Canvas 4 smartphone in New Delhi. Vignesh Pandey endorsed Micromax Canvas Unite 4 line of smartphones in 2017. They also, won some key awards like the Emerging Company of the Year by VNT 100 Awards. And in 2017, Rahul Sharma was conferred the Transformational Business Leader of the Year award. They had also faced some controversies in March 2013. Ericsson sued Micromax for infringement of Ericsson's 8 patents registered in India that were essential to the 2G and 3G standards. The Delhi High Court ordered Micromax to pay royalty amounts to Ericsson based on the percentages of the net selling prices of the device incorporating the 2G and 3G standards. Around the time that Ericsson filed its patent infringement suit, Micromax filed a concurrent complaint with the Competition Commission of India alleging that Ericsson had abused its allegedly dominant position by imposing exorbitant royalties for the use of its SEPs, thus violating the Competition Act 2002. In February 2016, the CCI had yet to issue a final determinative ruling on the basis of Micromax allegations. In late 2014, Delhi High Court ruled that sales of the OnePlus One smartphone are blocked in India because Cyanogen OS signed an exclusive deal to sell Micromax mobile telephones only in India. Although OnePlus One had a worldwide licensing deal. However, the High Court lifted the ban, allowing OnePlus One to be sold in India as the licensing deals with Cyanogen are different for both the parties. So, Micromax had also fallen in a lot of controversies, and you know they had faced multiple problems, and now of course the Micromax is trying to make a comeback, and let's see how well it will do in future, because currently India has a big huge mobile market share and mobile market industry, and there are some big players in this industry, and some other players like Oppo, Vivo, MI are also making their great space in the mobile market industry. So it is yet to be seen as to how well can Micromax do in the mobile market industry. So I really hope that this session was full of informations for you people in case of as far as these two brands are concerned, and you must have got an insight to what kind of decisions actually led to the failure of these two big brands like Jet Airways and Micromax, which was at one point of time, like Jet Airways was the second biggest airline company, and Micromax was the second biggest mobile manufacturing company in India after Samsung. So I really hope that these sessions of the success and failure stories of some big Indian business houses are, you know, fulfilling your quench or your thirst for the knowledge about these business houses. And I really hope that the learners are going to benefit a lot from the sessions that I've been taking in Indian business houses. Soon we will be completing the fourth unit of Indian business houses, and then we will be starting with our last unit, which is the fifth unit of Indian business houses. So that is all from my side for today's session. I really hope that you have enjoyed this session and will be continuing to watch the further sessions of Indian business houses. Meanwhile, if you have any queries or any doubts regarding these Indian business houses, please post in your queries in the comment boxes. I will be really happy to answer to them. If you require any sort of learning materials, do post your requirements in the comment boxes. Gyanvir University has a full-fledgedly developed learning management system wherein a lot of learning material is available. I would be very happy to share them with you. After all, Gyanvir University's motto is to spread knowledge. We do not believe in hiding it somewhere. This is one of the first private NAC accredited universities of Jaipur with an A grade. There are reasons why we achieved it. So, this is Dr. Swati Mishra, Associate Professor at International School of Business Management at Suresh Gyanvir University, Jaipur, signing off. Thank you so much for attending this session. Have a nice day. Bye bye.